Welcome to the Heart of a Viking. This channel offers elementary art lessons taught by Mrs. Minto from the Cape Henlopen School District in Delaware. I look forward to virtually creating with you. There are new lessons posted weekly. Subscribe to the channel to make sure you don't miss a single one. So go grab your art supplies and your thinking caps and let's begin. Hey third graders, welcome back! Well, I was not able to continue working on mine last time, so I still have a lot of coloring to do, so I'm picking up right where I left off. I'm going to continue using my watercolor pencils that I had started with last time. However, if you didn't have those, regular color pencils will do just fine. So, a couple of things to remember when using watercolor pencils and colored pencils. One is press hard on those edges you can see on my rooftop there. It really made a difference to sort of outline the edges a little bit. I'm also doing the same thing on the house. Another thing that you can do is color blend. That means that you are using two colors and sort of not always pressing equally as hard, but sort of blending them together to create a new color. And then color mixing would be when you are on purpose putting two different colors on top of each other and layering them. So maybe green, yellow, green, yellow, green, yellow. And then eventually, once you've gotten a certain amount of color on your paper, they will work together and turn yellow-green. So couple of things that you can use with colored pencils and watercolor pencils. Once I finish with this house, I'm going to move on to the sky. Once I get to the sky, I'm going to do a couple of things. One, I want the sun to look very sunny. One of my emotions last time was happy, so I don't want this sun to get lost behind those clouds because my other emotion was a little bit cloudy. So I want the sun to be nice and bright, so I'm not just coloring in the sun. I'm actually going to let some of that warm sun rays sort of blend out into the sky here. However, I just got done talking not too long ago about color blending, and I'm going to do that with the yellow and the orange. However, when I start to color the blue sky, I want the blue to go right up to the yellow, but not actually go into the yellow, because I don't want any accidental green in my sky. So this blue is going to go everywhere else, but it's not going to go on the yellow. It's going to go right up to it because I definitely don't want any green in my sky. One last thing about the sky. The real sky outside right now, if you look up high above you, it's going to look as a darker blue than it does when it gets down closer to the objects, whether it's houses or, like in this case, it's some hills with some grass. Whenever you're looking down closer to the horizon line, it's going to look lighter. So I'm going to try and imitate that same thing as I fill in my blue sky. And then eventually, I'm going to put a bit of gray into the clouds. But remember, I didn't actually have a gray watercolor pencil. I have to use my black and just press really, really softly with it, and then I promise it will look gray. And I'm going to focus putting this gray on the outside edges of each of the clouds and anywhere where it overlaps another cloud as well. Now, if you're using traditional colored pencils, then your piece of artwork would be totally finished at this point. If you have watercolor pencils or just want to watch and see what happens, then what we're going to do is get a clean paintbrush and a clean cup of water, and we're simply going to paint clean water over our watercolor pencil lead. And when I do, it turns that lead into paint. So now I'm pushing paint around as I paint around my clouds and around my sun. Now here's good news and bad news. The good news is it looks fantastic. The bad news is if I accidentally paint into one of my clouds or into my hill, that blue paint that's on my brush now, it will put blue wherever I go. So if I accidentally paint over a cloud, that cloud is now a blue cloud. And most of the time, the clouds don't look blue. So I really want to avoid that as much as I can. Same thing with this yellow. I'm going to go right up to the edge of the yellow, but I'm not going to go in it because as soon as I get some yellow on my brush, it's going to turn green. Blue and yellow make green, and I definitely don't want green up in my sky. So I have to make sure I rinse out my brush before I go on to another color. That's what I'm doing now, rinsing out that brush, and now I can go to my yellow because I got all of that blue out of my brush. And I'm going to just keep doing this same thing all the way until I'm done. Painting one spot, rinsing out my brush, painting a spot, rinsing out my brush, and I'm going to just keep doing that until I'm all finished. Okay, and now I'm just about finished with all of the big areas. However, I'm about to start to paint that little house in the back. So I'm going to use one other technique that I haven't used yet. This brush that I'm using is pretty big. I could go get a smaller paintbrush to paint my small house, but I'm going to show you instead how you can still continue to use your big brush. So I'm rinsing my brush, scraping off the water, and now see how I'm dragging my paintbrush? By dragging it like that, it makes the bristles point together a little bit more, and it takes off some of the water, which means I can more easily control my paintbrush as I paint in these small little areas. And don't forget to rinse out your brush between all colors. Well, there you have it, third graders. Doesn't this look fantastic? An excellent representation of a sunny but cloudy forecast. Just like the day that I was making this, I felt happy but a little bit grumpy that I was having a sore back that day. So I hope you have a great rest of your day. I hope that you hang this somewhere because I'm sure yours is just as lovely as mine. And I really hope you upload to Artsonia. So take a photograph, follow the video that I posted not too long ago, and I can't wait to see you back here next time at the Heart of a Viking. HOV artists, don't forget to hop on over to Artsonia to upload a photograph of your piece of artwork to your art portfolio. I can't wait to see it.